Hi, Wycliffe, Barrett here, and welcome to Explain Dedicated. I'm going to do a film on how to do star arrivals, requested by Milton, so I'll see you on the other side of the trailer. Hi YouTube and Explain Dedicated. Good morning and welcome. I'm here in the XPD headquarters, and you can see on screen here we've got a couple of charts, and that is because Milton Magadze, I hope I've got his name right, wanted me, we'll just call him Milton, wanted me to do a tutorial on stars, specifically into Cardiff, because he was flying into Cardiff, I believe, this morning or maybe late yesterday evening, and he had a bit of a problem, so he asked if I would do a tutorial on ILS approaches using a star into Cardiff. It's not so much a tutorial, but it's just an explanation. Now, all stars are different. All standard terminal arrival routes are different. I'm being very specific here and using the Cardiff one because that's what Milton asked, but the same principle applies almost to any star that you will be using. Normally in the real world, the pilot doesn't know what star he is going to be flying into until he has contacted radar, approach radar, and generally approach radar then will issue the star, at which point the pilot is supposed to input it into his FMC. Okay. On that sim, of course, or flying offline, we tend to put our stars in when we do our whole planning, because the weather doesn't change that much really, unless you're on a really long haul flight. Then there's a good chance the weather could change at your arrival airport by the time you get there after several hours of flight. But more often than not, the weather is quite standard. So here we have the Cardiff 1 Alpha 1 Echo star here on the left here, okay, and stars generally start at your last waypoint of your flight plan, okay, so a star arrival will start at the last waypoint of your flight plan. So just assuming that we're coming from the north, say we're flying down from Glasgow, the last waypoint on that route will be Retzi, and so Retzi is the first waypoint of your star. And when you input that into your flight, into your FMC or your FMGS, whether it be Airbus or Boeing aircraft, all stars look the same. So they always look the same, it's just that they may be inputted slightly different from different aircraft, although generally it's quite the same. So here we've got the Cardiff 1 Alpha. Now the Cardiff 1 Alpha is the one on the right here, and the Cardiff 1 Echo is this one here on the left. The 1 Echo is rarely used. It's normally always the Cardiff 1 Alpha from the north, and so you arrive at Retzi descending to be flight level 160 at Riles there, right? Riles. Flight level 160 by Amral, so you should be descending flight level 160 by Amral, then continuing down to 160, you still remain at 160 by Riles. At Dobem, you should be descending to 110. So when you leave Riles, descend to 110. Kukis is approximately 6,000 feet, if I recall. Arriving over the Cardiff Delta Foxtrot NDB there at 6,000 feet. Okay, arriving there at 6,000 feet. Now the Cardiff NDB Charlie Delta Fox is over the airport. So what happens now? Yeah, this is the difficult bit. Well, the difficult bit is that you now move to the approach chart, which is over here on the right. Yeah, and having arrived at Charlie Delta Fox there, 388.5, you then make a left turn on a heading of 135 degrees, descending to altitude 2,200 feet. So as you hit Charlie Delta Fox, and that would be the transition, you should be descending to altitude 2,200 feet, as indicated on the chart here at the bottom. Yeah, as indicated here on the chart on the bottom, so that you can capture the glide slope at approximately DME 6 miles. Okay, so you leave on a heading of 135 at DME 8, left hand turn to 299 degrees, where you will capture the localizer. Yeah, 2,200 feet, don't forget, so you should be 2,200 in the turn here. And as you capture the localizer, you then descend on the glide path, and full ILS control. You can take over, you can switch off the flight directors at 2 miles out if you wish, and or even further out. It depends how confident you feel in your aircraft, etc., weather, wind, etc. Release the flight directors and continue down on your descent, the glide slope and glide path, and that's your ILS approach. For straightforward, but does take a little bit getting your head around. So as Milton was this morning, he was flying the Cardiff 1 Alpha, I believe, and then to Charlie Delta Foxtrot 388.5, and then he got slightly in a bit of a mess. But you then follow the approach chart. Sometimes what a lot of people do, myself included and a couple of other pilots, if there's no ATC, sometimes we self-vector. Yeah, and this is a little bit more complex, but we self-vector, right? And if ATC was online, they would vector you as well. They may not put you on the procedure, you know. And so what happens then with vectoring is that you would come down here as per normal, but at approximately 5 miles before the airport, turn left on a heading of 120 degrees, turn left on a heading of 120 degrees, so about here, yeah, and then turn right on a heading of 270 degrees to capture the localizer down here. Okay, so you would come down as per normal, but at approximately 5 miles before the airport, 6 miles before the airport, turn left heading at 120 degrees. Yeah, so that's the reciprocal of 300. Turn left 120 degrees, and just as you come over Flatholm here, this little island here, as you come over the top of that, turn right 270 degrees to close the localizer and capture the glide slope. Not forgetting you'd have to be at 2,200 feet to do that on self-vectoring. And let me show you on here a little bit closer. You come in towards the Cardiff Delta, the Charlie Delta Foxtrot, but at approximately 5 miles, yeah, approximately 5 miles, 6 miles maybe, turn left on a heading of 120 degrees, left on a heading of 120. As you come over Flatholm there, yeah, as you come over the top of Flatholm, turn a right 270 to close the localizer, and then descend on the glide slope. So, you know, there's 3 methods. You follow the star completely with the approach procedure. ATC may vector you, and they would vector you probably around about the same things as I've just said, or you can do self-vectoring. I'll put some notes in the bottom of the film, in the show notes, about the headings that you might need to take, and if you was going the other way, it would be opposite, but we won't do the 1-2, we'll just do 3-0. Okay, so that's it. It's fairly straightforward. If you've got any questions, Milton, or anybody else, put them onto Explain Dedicated and we will sort all of that out for you. So a short vlog on approach charts, and if you want more, then we'll do more of these, but you need to tell me what it is you want. Okay, so just write it on the Facebook page and I will get it done. Okay guys, I'll see you all soon. Cheerio and blue skies.